Hey fellow hobbyists, in part 5 of our Christmas Kiosk series, we're going to implement the scripts and automation required to turn our Raspberry Pi into a Christmas kiosk. Since we want this kiosk to be self-sufficient and kind of do its own thing as soon as power is applied to it, we're going to create a script that will initiate the kiosk mode and then set that script to be called on boot. We're going to create that script now, which doesn't exist, so we're going to create it using Nano. So you'll add this line to the script. But before you do that, what you'll want to do is replace this HTTP localhost with your desired website. This is about Remote Falcon kiosks, so you'll want to replace this with your Remote Falcon website. Because of its length, it'll split it across multiple lines here, or across multiple pages of the window, and that's okay. Once these two lines are in the script, we can go ahead and save it with Control-O. It'll ask us to confirm down at the bottom. We just hit Enter, and then Control-X to leave the editor. We now have this script, Kiosk Refresh, that we can see in the file system here, Kiosk Refresh. Now before we can do anything with that script, we have to modify its permissions a little bit so that it will actually appear as executable. So when I do another directory listing, we see that it's in green now. So there's not really a need to execute this here because we don't want to have to remote in and execute this command every time. We want this to be automatic. But the first step was to create a script that could run. Now there's one more optional step here, and that is to set up a cron job. That's just a scheduled call of the script that we'll call it periodically. We are going to set up the script to run on boot, but we also might want to set it to run periodically, because what if a user does something or a website does something and it kind of gets out of sync with what we want? So what this command is saying is it's saying, hey, every 5 minutes, run kiosk refresh. Just like all Nano things, we're going to do Control-O to save and Control-X to exit. That cron job set up a recurring run of the script, but we also want it to run on boot. The way we do that is by going into the etc xdg lab wc startup. Now, this will only work if you are following the other parts of this tutorial where we use the Raspberry configuration tool to set the display driver to be the lab wc driver. So we're going to go into that directory and we're going to edit its auto start commands. So we're now in here, and what we can do is go ahead and add a command in here. This is just a script, so we're going to, of things it will do. So we're going to add to this, we're going to say we'd also like it to do home pi kiosk refresh. We're saying, hey, on boot, we want you to also run this refresh script. So when the OS loads, after it runs all these other commands and we want to put this command at the bottom, it will run home pi kiosk refresh. And that's the one that loads our desired web page. That's all there is to it. So Control-O to save, Control-X to exit. And now the next time we reboot this, it will try to run that on start. But there's one more thing we have to do before it can even do that. We need to have it automatically log in. So we're going to go back into our Raspberry Pi configuration tool, and we're going to set it to automatically log in through System Options, Boot Auto Login, and we want it to auto log in to the desktop. And once that's complete, we have a fully automated Christmas kiosk ready to go to work in the yard. All that's left now is to go through how I housed it to protect it from the weather. Catch part 6 to see how we housed the Christmas kiosk.